From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, a Fairbanks man who pled guilty to murder has gotten rid of his lawyer and is trying to withdraw his plea. Earlier this year, 22-year-old Cornelius Everett pled guilty to the second-degree murder of 55-year-old acquaintance. However, after a hearing today, a judge ruled that his previous lawyer had a conflict of interest in the case. Griffin will argue in front of a judge next week that his change of plea should be dismissed. The case stems back to June 2011 beating death of 55-year-old Johnson Griffin. Griffin was beaten to death in his Northward Building apartment. A Nulato woman has pled guilty to reduced charges after members of the Native community spoke out to the state in her support. 56-year-old Ellen Stickman faced multiple charges after being arrested in Nulato. Now, Stickman was arrested on suspicion of DUI after wrecking her ATV. She initially resisted arrest, and according to comments made by the state today, she was tased a total of 4 times. Once in custody, Stickman tried to light the walls of her cell on fire and was charged with arson, a Class B felony. However, prosecutors reached a deal with Stickman's attorneys, and she pled guilty to a single count of misdemeanor criminal mischief, and all other charges were dropped. Stickman will be released with time served. Ketchikan officials met with members of the Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly last night to discuss their upcoming lawsuit against the state of Alaska. The suit alleges that the funding contribution required from the state by municipalities towards education funding is unconstitutional. Officials further allege that demanding money only from municipalities puts an unfair burden on residents of boroughs and causes them to pay taxes indirectly to the state when other Alaskans don't have to. The Ketchikan Gateway Borough plans to file their suit soon and expect the whole process to take years. Mayor Luke Hopkins said the Assembly will take a closer look at their next step once the suit is actually filed, but many Assembly members are already speaking out in support.
What I have a problem with is the fairness issue, in that somebody who lives right outside of our borough doesn't pay a dime to fund state basic need education, and yet people who are my constituents in the borough pay. And that's the problem, and that's why I've kind of signed on to this.
It was an important day for Fort Wainwright as a new garrison commander took charge earlier this afternoon. Colonel Sidney C. Cape Zemp, originally from Hampton Roads, Virginia, was most recently the Assistant Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command in Virginia. Zemp served with the 1st Armored Division during Operations Iraqi Freedom and New Dawn and was a tank platoon leader during Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Zemp arrived in Fairbanks today, and during his ceremony, he talked about some of the challenges he plans to take on.
Well, I think the most challenging experience in Garrison Command is trying to get the various partners to work together on solutions, particularly at a time when federal budgets are shrinking and resources are tougher to find. We have to be more creative about solutions. And we have to be smarter about the partnerships that we forge, not only on post, but with our partners off post as well. I think it's going to be vital to our success.
The State Individual Assistance Hotline and online registration will be available December 7th for people impacted by the 2013 November storms here in the interior. Residents of the Fairbanks North Star Borough, City of Fairbanks, and City of North Pole may apply for damages incurred during the storm and power outage that took place between November 5th and November 14th. Before applying, applicants should develop a description of damages and/or losses, gather ownership and insurance documents, and have personal identification ready. In addition to a telephone hotline and online sign-ups, there will be a disaster assistance center set up at the Nolween Library through December 13th through the 16th.
If someone had disaster damages from the 2013 November storms, which took place between November 5th and 14th, we urge them to apply. If they don't apply and the deadline passes, we can't provide them assistance.
And when we come back, although the healthcare website is working better, there may be a problem with getting Medicaid benefits. Also, the chair of the U.S. Indian Law and Order Commission says Alaska needs to do a better job dealing with tribal sovereignty. Those stories are next. Stay with us. Welcome back. The governor has ordered state flags to be lowered in honor of the late Judge James Vonderheit. Governor Sean Parnell's office says Vonderheit died December 1st at the age of 94. Vonderheit came to Alaska in 1943, working in construction before winning appointments as Deputy U.S. Marshal, U.S. Commissioner at Nome, and U.S. Attorney. He served in the Alaska Territorial Legislature during the 1957 session and in 1959 was appointed a Superior Court judge in Juneau. In 1966, he was named a federal judge and held that position in the Alaska District until retiring in 1994. Vonderheit is survived by his wife. Well, healthcare.gov is easier to use according to Enroll Alaska, but some Alaskans are falling into the Medicaid hole. As part of the Affordable Care Act, adults below the poverty line can receive Medicaid coverage while people above the poverty line can qualify for subsidies. However, in states like Alaska, which opted out of Medicaid expansion, some adults cannot receive Medicaid coverage and they don't qualify for subsidies either. During the last week, the United Way of Alaska managed 4 cases of enrollment. The lead navigator says 3 people were caught between options and received an exemption from the tax penalty.
People that are falling below that 100% of poverty, the way the law is set up, they don't get tax subsidies or they don't get help with their premiums because they would have been covered by Medicaid. And so it's kind of a glitch that needs to get fixed legislatively.
The chairman of the U.S. Indian Law and Order Commission says Alaska needs to do a better job when it comes to dealing with tribal sovereignty. Troy Ide was in Anchorage this week to present a recent report mainly about the successes and failures of reservation justice programs and recommendations on new laws and policies. The report also chastised Alaska for opposing natives who want their own village courts and police. Ide has been speaking all over the country about the Tribal Law and Order Act.
What the act is designed to do is to provide some more freedom, not enough in my view, but more freedom to tribes to be able to run their own justice systems, to do some innovation, and that also is happening, but I think there's not nearly as much flexibility as there ought to be.
Mascots and school colors from 2 of Alaska's collegiate rivals, the University of Alaska Anchorage and the University of Alaska Fairbanks, will soon be featured on 2 of Alaska Airlines Bombardier Q400 turboprop aircraft. The colorful paint themes will be unveiled tonight to a crowd of fans at the Sullivan Arena during the Nanooks versus Seawolves hockey game. The Nanook and Seawolf planes will be painted at no cost to the university and will fly primarily between Anchorage and Fairbanks and Anchorage and Kodiak. The UAF and UAA planes will be painted and unveiled in February of next year. Well, it's going to be a weekend with lots of Christmas events going on. One of those is happening tonight and tomorrow at Pioneer Park. The Greatland Sounds Men's Barbershop Chorus, along with the Sweet Adeline's Women's Barbershop Chorus, will combine their talents to present the sounds of Christmas. The 2-part show will feature melodic harmonies of old favorite Christmas standards, while the other part of the show is a comical story about how the Grinch tries to steal Christmas and Santa Claus, but is foiled in his attempt.
Now, I'm Colonel Swagger, and I'm in charge of a Men in Black detail, and we've been dispatched to find Santa Claus and get him back on the job so we can save Christmas for all the children of the world. Actually, I'm Mike Ferguson, and the stealing of Christmas for all the children of the world is simply a comedic setting so that we can do some good Christmas music for all the people that come to see the show.
The Sounds of Christmas will have 2 shows at the Pioneer Park Civic Center tonight at 7:30 and tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Discounts will be given to seniors, military, and students.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I see you got the purple tie memo. That's very good.
Yeah, I guess I did.
Yeah, perfect. We match. Awesome. So what's coming up in sports tonight? Lots,
Well,
right?
you know, the Nanook women's team, the basketball team, they took the number 6 team in the country to the limit last night. But could they pull off the upset? You'll see that. Plus, we previewed the sports weekend and a lot more coming up next. Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Let's get your weekend started with some sports. Last night, the Natick women's basketball team was oh so close to upsetting the 6th-ranked Seattle Pacific Falcons. It was a close game throughout. The Falcons led 28-25 at the half. Susanna Olsen, she had 11 of those points. Then we go late in the second half at the Nooks. They were down 11, but Kelly Lowe, she scored 8 straight points, and the Nooks made it a 2-possession game. She finished with 10 points. Susanna Olsen led the way for the Falcons with a team-high 19 points. Katie Benson was sacked with foul troubles for the Falcons, but she added 17 points. But Jordan Wilson, she had a game-high 25 points, 9 boards, and 6 steals. Natick will get within 2 with 3 seconds left, but Seattle Pacific made timely free throws, and Benicia Belaya's half-court heave was blocked at the buzzer, and the Falcons escaped with a 71-68 win.
We had to play good defense because they can hit shots, and you could tell we got timid after we missed shots, and then they hit big shots.
It was looking a little shaky at some points, but we just rallied together, played some tough defense, and got the win.
We don't want to give up. That was our mindset, that we were going to fight, because this is what this team does.
It'll do a lot for our confidence and bring a lot of energy into practice, knowing that we're a strong team, and it gives us confidence for the rest of our league games.
We're making a statement in the conference. I don't think, like I said earlier, that this is a fluke. This is a team that wants to compete. They know and they want and they're feeling like they want to be conference contenders.
Almost every Natick team is taking on rival UAA this weekend in Anchorage. That includes the skiing team, who will race against the Seawolves in the 2013 Nordic Cup. The Naticks have won this 6 times in the last 9 years, including last year's 78-48 win at Birch Hill. Tomorrow they will be racing at Kincaid Park for the women's 5K and men's 10K individual start freestyle. Senior Heather Edick and junior Logan Hahnemann talk about starting their season defending the Nordic Cup.
I think that our 2 new freshmen traveling are going to be really strong. So we've just been trying to train mostly together and do intervals together so that we can all work out there together. And I think that some of the freshmen are helping us learn things too, so we can all learn something from each other.
It's nice to kick it off with against Anchorage, rather than just some little town race. So, yeah, the Nordic Cup is it's going to be it's always a sweet, to gauge yourself, see how your fall training went, and see if it's going to be a good winter.
UAF volleyball star Sam Hartoon received another accolade this week. The American Volleyball Coaches Association picked Hartoon as an honorable mention on the All-West Regional team. The sophomore's 435 kills this season are 5th most ever in GNAC history in a single season and ranks 4th for the Nanicks. Hartoon led the conference in scoring this season. She got it done defensively too, with the career highs in digs, total blocks, and service aces. Hartoon was also all academic and all GNAC first team as well. And yesterday in the Big Dipper, the 3A rivalry between Hutch and Monroe took place. Daniel Slane in goal for Hutchinson, and Nathaniel Bros was goalie for Monroe. They were mainstays of a scoreless first period, but Brandon Rustad, Rusty they call him, scored on a power play goal at 9:54 mark of the second period for Hutchinson. Then less than 2 minutes later, Alex Marcos, he scored for Hutchinson as well to give the Hawks a 2-0 lead, but the Rams got back in it. It was a 4-on-4 situation, and William Bryce, he made it a 2-1 game with his goal with 2:30 left in the second. Bros left the game due to an injury for the Rams, and Thomas Leeds, he scored on rookie goalie Nathan Jakowski in the third. Slane shut the door with 20 saves for Hutch, and the Hawks go on to win this one 3-1.
I always just try to come out and show guys with what I do on the ice, how to play, how to work hard, what to do on the ice. I always just try to show a good example, and I think I did all right at that today. And hopefully it'll help our younger guys, mature into good players by the time they're my age.
In between intermissions, we just talked about playing smart hockey. You can move your feet and work as hard as you want, but if you're not going to play smart hockey, you're really not going to get anything done. And I saw flashes of that in the second and a little bit better in the third, and it was a good effort by the guys. So, I'm happy with the W, but we got a lot of work to do.
And here's a look at the sports weekend for the interior. Now, tomorrow morning, high school rifle starts at 8 a.m. with Hutchinson and Lathrop at the Alaska Department Fishing game. Delta takes on West Valley at UAF with North Pole facing the Wolfpack, also at UAF at 1 p.m. The Second Town Series cross-country skiing races will be at Birch Hill starting at 11 a.m. and North Pole and West Valley will have a wrestling match at West Valley at 5. The weigh-ins start at 4. In roller derby, the Fairbanks Roller Girls will host the Denali Destroyer Girls at the Carlson Center. The bout starts at 7 p.m. and the doors open at 6. The Natives women's basketball team takes on Montana State Billings at 7 p.m. tomorrow as well. And the Ice Dogs will have game 2 against the Kenai River Brown Bears at 7:30 on Saturday. And finally, as we usually do on Fridays, here is this week's Play of the Week from Monday's I-5, the Interior Top 5 Plays. And you had to know it was this one. Doug Rose, the Fairbanks Ice Dogs defenseman, NHL Defenseman of the Month, with his game-winning overtime goal with 4 seconds left, lifts the Ice Dogs to a 6-5 win over the Brown Bears last Friday night on the road. Fairbanks leads the Era Cup Series 6-0 and already 3 games away from repeating as Cup champs. To pick the Play of the Week, watch for the new I-5, the Interior Top 5 Plays, on Mondays during the Weekend Recap. And that's it for Sports at 6, but come back tonight for the Sports Nightcap. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Mike Schultz with you once again. Taking a look at the weather. Things are not as bad as they were last night. We had a lot of moisture and some freezing rain move through, but all in all, not too bad today. A few spots of rain here and there. Have heard some reports of a little bit of slick conditions on the Richardson highways, so keep that in mind. Here's our photograph for tonight, and this is another beauty. This one's sent in by Daniil Rupert. Another beautiful sunset, as you can see here. Some gorgeous colors there, and the trees standing there. Again, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to me, Mike Schultz. Actually, you will send it to photos@ktvf11.com. And of course, we'll give it a chance for next year's calendar. This year's calendar is out and about, and they're going fast. If you want one for next year, stop by 13 different locations in the Fairbanks area, including places like, the Fudge Pot downtown. They'll give you a nice calendar for free there. And as far as our numbers go, well, our normal high is 6 above, the normal low 12 below, record high 51 in 1934, 58 below in 1935. What a contrast in temperatures. And the sunrise and sunset works out to about 4 hours and 12 minutes. As we're getting close to that shortest day of the year, not too far away, about 15 days away. On our satellite and radar, again, you can see we're looking at a big area of flow coming across most of the Alaska, spinning around clockwise around a huge area of high pressure, not low pressure, but high pressure. That's helping to guide that moisture across the interior. And you can see things are clearing out for the most part right now, but another band moving across. So we'll be having those moving across the next few days or so. Now, as far as what's going on across the rest of the state, what we see for the cloudy skies to clear skies over southeast Alaska. Little rain falling at Nome, 36 degrees there. Some snow showers up in the North Slope at Barrow. Lower 48 weather, well, the big weather maker that was happening a few days ago is moving off rapidly to the east, but now it's being replaced by a lot of cold temperatures. 29 degrees in Dallas, and they've had close to 8 inches of snow around the Portland, Oregon area this evening and this afternoon, and that's all moving rapidly to the southeast. In fact, as you can see on the satellite and radar, there's the big winter storm that brought all the ice to around the Texas area, and now here comes a new winter storm moving all the way down and bringing snow to the 500-foot elevations in California. All being driven once again by the jet stream. Early next week, that jet stream takes a big dive down to the south, so the cold air once again will be locked in across the Central Plains. Frigid temperatures across the Great Lakes. Back to Alaska for tomorrow. In the northern sections, a little snow for Barrow, rain in Nome, mainly cloudy skies at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at just mainly cloudy skies with warmer temperatures than today for Healy, Delta Junction, and Fairbanks. Over southeast Alaska, looks like mostly cloudy skies for Juneau, but mostly clear in Ketchikan, while over the southwest part of the state, rain and snow expected at Bethel, rain for Cold Bay, and a few clouds in the Kodiak Island area. And over the south central regions, a little rain at Anchorage, rain and snow for Homer, and cloudy skies in Valdez. It's a Friday night, time for our Winter Trails Report, and that is brought to you by the good folks at Beaver Sports. Ski resorts will be watching the weather conditions because the roads are kind of slickery, so we recommend you call ahead to make sure that they're open. Otherwise, the weekend should be good for all outdoor activities. Here's your forecast for tonight. 23 degrees, can't rule out spotty freezing rain over the nighttime hours. Tomorrow's forecast right around freezing. A better day with cloudy skies and warmer. And the 5-day outlook, as you can see here, looking at some snow shower activity for Sunday and Monday. Then just partly cloudy to clear skies right on through the rest of the 5-day period. And temperatures slowly cooling off, but still remaining quite comfortable for this time of year. Overnight lows will drop down to about 12 below by a Wednesday and Thursday night. And I'm going to be at Fred Meyer tomorrow from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, ringing that Salvation Army, Bill.
Really?
So come on by and say hi. It's always fun. All the kids will come up there and put their 5s and 10s in there. And just, like I told Joe, they just smile from ear to ear. It's a good time.
Very good.
Yeah,
It's a lot
sounds
of
good.
fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good for you. That's great.
Good charity.
Yeah, very good. All right. Thank you, Mike. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
And tonight on NBC Nightly News, the latest on the snow and ice storm moving across the country. That's next with Brian Williams.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
All right. From all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a great weekend. Have a great night.
Good night.